You've seen all kinds of movies, but you've never seen anything like the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show is absolutely one of my favourite films of all time. I could talk about this film honestly forever, but I think, as my good friend Daniel BlumenFalck once said, this is cinema. It is truly an inspiring film, both from a production standpoint, where everyone fought every step of the way to make it a reality, but also from a personal standpoint, as it is a celebration of weirdness and of being you, but also warns of the dangers of excess, a prevalent issue both in the 1970s and now. Starting its life as a stage musical, The Rocky Horror Show, The Rocky Horror Picture Show is the brainchild of Richard O'Brien, whose dream it was for this stage production to become a film. The Rocky Horror Picture Show ended up becoming a cult classic, selling out drive-ins and midnight screenings all over the United States and the UK. It did well enough to actually get a sequel in 1981 called Shock Treatment. It's not a direct sequel, but instead simply follows the characters of Brad and Janet, who appear to be struggling with their marriage, though it's unclear whether or not these are the same Brad and Janet that went through the events of the first film. The reason for this is that Jim Sharman, the director of the Rocky Horror Picture Show, didn't want to make a sequel that followed too closely to this original film, but instead explore similar issues with the same campy fun style. While at the time it was disregarded as a failed attempt at capturing the same alternative punk spirit of the original, it is viewed by many now as being a worthy sequel, with a much more overtly dark, political, and socially satirical tone, containing an eviscerating commentary on the nature of reality TV, which, bizarrely, has only become more relevant over time. However, there were other attempts at creating a direct sequel to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, other than Shock Treatment, and these were direct sequels to the events of the original film. The first attempt was The Rocky Horror Shows His Heels, written in 1979. This attempt would have seen the original cast all return to their original roles. However, little is known about the actual plot or details of this script. There is another script that is more widely known by fans of the film, entitled Revenge of the Old Queen, written in about 1989. The film was also meant to be a direct sequel to the original, where we were supposed to follow up on the original cast, ideally played by the original cast members, though at this point the creators knew that they might not be able to get everyone back, especially Tim Curry, who had stated he would never return for a sequel or reprise the role of Dr. Frankenfurter. This script was never officially published, but a bootleg copy can be found floating around the internet. I do highly recommend reading it, because it is a very interesting read to see how this sequel would have turned out. I'm not going to give a full summary of the script, but I would like to mention a few aspects of it. The most interesting thing for me is that the script is a very dark but also wacky one. Dark because many of the characters' lives seem to have been truly ruined by the events of the first film. Particularly tragic is Brad and Janet's relationship, where Brad dies at his stripping job and Janet is left to deal with their child, who later on turns out not even to be related to Brad, but is in fact Dr. Frankenfurter's. But also wacky because it maintains the wacky sense of humour and contains many film homages to classic cinema. Unfortunately, it is most likely that this film will never see the light of day, due to the aging cast and the shifting power dynamics at Fox, where this script has been buried under mountains of other projects and is no longer considered economically viable. However, it's not all doom and gloom. Richard O'Brien is still getting a lot of mileage out of his fantastic creation, even going as far as producing a stage production of Shock Treatment as late as 2014. So there's still hope that maybe a stage production of Revenge of the Old Queen could still be made. Who knows? Hey, if you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, comment, and please subscribe, and join us next week. Thank you very much for watching.